All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, gamers and friends. It is episode 53 of the CounterStrike Casual podcast. I'm back with a vengeance, so is Brearley. I've even got
Yeah,
an actual
buddy.
brewski today. We're celebrating.
And I've got a vest on, mate. What's that about? Who wears vests?
Well, we've got a vest on because it's swelteringly hot. I think it was like 30 degrees down here yesterday. Mate, I'm sweating now. My ears are sweating.
Yeah, well, I imagine with those cushions on them, they're gonna get pretty sweaty.
Exactly, brother, man.
Worse, yeah, yours are the same as mine. The leather.
Yeah, these
My last ones were like a material steel series ones, and they weren't as sweaty as these. These are good, but yeah.
Mate, these are. We spoke about these on the podcast. I feel like they're like the most underrated piece of hardware ever, which is interesting because we're obviously going to talk about hardware today, and like these actually are the most underrated piece of hardware. If anyone ever wants headphones, I always just say HyperX Cloud. Like, there's nothing more you need, especially for the price point, right? It's incredible.
Is that because all the pros use them? Like, if the pros didn't use them, do you think you would have bought these and been like, these are the best headphones ever?
Well, my last set was a HyperX, and the pros weren't using them as much. I don't think there was a few. I guess they get you onto it, right? Which is understandable. But then when you actually use them, I mean, since you've used them, have you not know? Like, you can hear everything in CS, right? Like, we hear everything. We'll often be like, did they not hear that?
I'm really bad at noticing differences though. Like, I'm not the type of person to like ask what tick a server is. Like, I have no idea.
Well, there's all one tick nowadays, mate, and it's sub.
Yeah.
And you will like it. Right. I'll tell you what. Shout out Gadge one last time. It's been 2 weeks since we launched our first ever guest episode of Gadge, our American friend. And do you know what? When I look back, it was quality. It was great. Thank you so much, Gadge, for coming on. Thank you for all the feedback from everyone who watched that episode. If you haven't had a chance to watch it, go back. It's a longer episode than what we usually do. It's three of us, and yeah, it was good fun, right? It was good fun, and
yeah,
I think thank you for the feedback, and continuing on from that, thank you to everyone that gives us feedback on this podcast. Apologies we weren't here last week. That was my fault. Can't remember what happened, but life or something happened. And basically, we continue to get like the odd comment from people and the odd message. And actually, it's interesting because we do this because we just like chat and shit. We love CounterStrike. We watch CounterStrike, we play CounterStrike. Then we're like, let's just record it. Who cares? And when we get comments, it's quite. We're always quite shocked, right? We're always a bit surprised.
Yeah.
And so Dan the Man sent us a comment this week on YouTube, and it's nice to read some of these out. He says, just want to say, love listening to the podcast to and from work in London traffic. Love the guest element. Was wondering whether on the next episode we could have a segment about the latest update on the Gucci team. Yeah, no. haven't heard them in a while. But seriously, keep up with the podcast. Cheers, me up after work. Safe, Dan the Man. Thank you so much for that feedback. Cheers to you, brother. Just on Gucci, there's a reason why we haven't spoken about. I actually, looking back, I feel like I may have actually touched on them at some point, but their last game, according to HLTV, as a team, was against Into the Breach on the 17th of Jan this year, and they lost 16-14. It was a Chengdu qualifier, I think. Just looking at their team, one's on Ints Academy, one plays for Nexus, one plays for a team called Semperfi. I don't even know who that is. One plays for a team called Gen 1, who again I don't even know that is, a French team. And then Soulfly's got no team. Interesting. So yeah, there's a reason we don't talk about Gucci Academy, because whilst they had the best name ever and they were our favourite team, they're not even a team anymore, unfortunately. So RIP Gucci.
There's only so far you can go with a name like that, really. Like, if you make it really big, then I imagine there's like trademark involved and stuff like that. No, maybe.
What, we're saying they weren't sponsored by Gucci Academy? Gucci?
Yeah, maybe they were.
Imagine someone at Gucci head office is just really. Someone at Gucci had a really good idea that let's make an esports team. Let's do CounterStrike. Someone there has gone, Bob, just it's not a good idea. And then someone's like, push for it. They made Gucci Academy, and this is the shittest team ever. Why have we done this? And Bob's got fired. Poor Bob. Anyway,
Oh, it's I guess it's a like a clothing line. What would you call it? It would be a gap in the market, wouldn't it? Like nobody
yeah.
else, no other clothing lines are involved. So
Would it make you buy Gucci if Gucci started making
if they made
esports
like a sick esports jersey, I probably would buy it.
and it was affordable? That's the key.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Not if it was like £300
Yeah,
or
like Gucci. I don't know how much anything Gucci costs because I don't own any Gucci. But
what.
who
I
actually
don't
owns
think it's
Gucci?
expensive. Well, in the UK, it's you either got to be stupidly rich or a bit of a chav.
Yeah, but fake.
Wear a fake one, yeah.
Yeah, maybe we can get some.
Anyway, we digress.
We digress. What's been going on since our last podcast? Since our last podcast, the esports World Cup happened, but it was so long ago. I don't know. Unless you want to say anything, Navi won. They beat
Oh
G2.
yeah,
G2. Go on.
I would like to touch on Navi more than anything. Just the fact that Navi won it. Like everyone was calling them a fluke and whatnot, and now they're ranked number one in the world by pretty much everyone. Do you agree with this number one ranking? I feel like we've spoke about this not long ago, but time moves fast in CounterStrike, so I feel like we can retouch on it. Like, has your opinion changed on Navi since we last spoke? Do you think?
I think big fan of Alexi B, big fan of JL, big fan of Wonderful. I was always a bit disappointed with bits inconsistencies, but the guy is actually when you actually look at Bit and what he's doing at the moment, right? The guy's got 2 majors to his name as well. It's nothing to be sniffed at. He could fall in that realm of like actually being quite underrated as like one of the better Counter-Strike players that we've seen. The guy's still 21 as well. It's fucking
Is
this
it?
guy. He's 21. He's young. So when you actually look at it like that, the guy is incredibly valuable, and I think he probably gets overlooked a lot. And I do it. I've done it before. I've been more excited about seeing Wonderful when he started, or JL when he's doing his weird popping off in important matches. But what's my opinion of Navi? I quite like them. I also really like Alexi B. I really like Alexi B, as I've said it before. I say it again, the geezer is so good with nades, and as a player that is shit with nades like myself, it's actually really quite intriguing to watch someone with really good utility usage. And the guy just seems to be a good IGL, man. Like, fair play to him. So I kind of feel like for him, for JL as well, JL gets a lot of hate for someone that actually is a nice personality in the scene who can play well. Mate, fair play to Navi, like, you know.
Yeah.
You know, if they turn up at Cologne majors and have a deep run or win one of the the next major, win a Cologne and like deep run, like they've got to be considered as like properly this calendar year, not just season, as the best team of overall of like 2024 if they have some more deep runs and a couple of wins. Like, there's
Yeah, I just think they're a really weird one because they don't have that like pop-off player, that superstar player. I also think, right, this is something I just came up with just before the podcast actually, which I think I'm onto something. Do you remember that little theory about Zywoo having this, what was it, the quality of the air wherever
yeah,
he's in the land? So I've got another one, which is the hair buff. So do you know these curtains JL has?
yeah,
Who else had them or has them? Wonderful.
yeah. Wonderful does have them. To be fair, yeah. Did
I like
Simple have them back in the day as well?
Simple. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like Zywoo had them for a moment.
Did he?
I might be making that up. But he had longer hair and he cut it anyway.
Okay.
I don't know if like for a moment he had those type of curtains. Who else has similar style hair?
Did I?
Donk.
But okay. Yeah. Okay.
I'm onto something, I
You might
swear.
be. Let me look
I'm
at
gonna
the.
start growing my hair and see if
Yeah, but
that
Alexi B, does Alexi B not push his all back or what? Let me have a look.
Yeah, but his is quite long.
Oh, now I'm looking at Rent. Mate, Donk doesn't have the curtain. Donk's just got a
No,
fucking
not the
bob.
curtains. But they have like longish hair, right?
Okay, got you. So long hair is the thing.
Yeah, maybe.
So like
yeah.
the upward quiff is no longer a thing.
Yeah, Imma's got that Rockcliffe on the go, hasn't he?
Yeah, but how does that explain Bit as well playing so well recently? When you actually look
Well,
at him
he's
around,
not as consistent as those guys, has he? But
true. When you actually look at him, Bit's rating over the last 3 months, like it's nothing to be sniffed at, man. Like, Immers is 1.11. I mean, it's not bad.
yeah. On a serious note, I feel like Navi don't have an ego on the team, and I think that really helps them. And I feel like
Yeah,
they all kind of buy into the system.
yep.
They all seem on board. There's not one of them that seems like
Do it this way,
they don't.
or
Yeah, they don't want to be part of the team, or they know better, or like I said, there's just no ego, and I just think they work really well. I don't think, to be honest with you, I don't think they are individually like the best players in the world, obviously, and I don't think that's why people look. What's the word? They sleep on them. A lot of people sleep on them because they're just not. They don't have that superstar player, but they
this.
play really well as a team, really, really well. And I think Blade's system works well, which kind of pains me to say it because that when I watched that interview with Blade, I just feel like he was taking a lot of credit and he seemed a little bit like up his own ass, for lack
Yeah,
of a
but if you're
term.
Blade, I think you
But
can
now I'm
be.
like,
You've earned
now
that if you're like a Blade or
yeah,
a Sonic, don't
yeah,
you?
yeah,
Maybe
I
Sonic
agree.
more than Blade. But I feel like as well they're an endearing team. They're quite like endearing. I feel like they're quickly becoming one of those teams where against a G2, against an Astralis, against almost a Vitality as well. Like I actually want them to win. I'd rather they won.
Yeah, they seem very modest, don't they? They all seem like I say, none of them have an ego. There's not one of them that just carries the team and knows he's the best. And
It's almost like every game and every tournament they go into, they're the underdogs when actually they probably shouldn't be.
yeah, even like was it G2 they beat at
The World Cup,
yeah,
esports cup, or whatever. Yeah,
yeah.
it's,
I feel like G2 started off really well, but I think people have this confidence against Navi that they can beat them, probably because the same reason everyone else kind of sees them as without a star player, without anyone to actually fear.
without a Munacy
When
or
actually they're all low key good players.
and seem to step
Like
up when it really
yeah,
matters.
Bit's good. I mean, all of them are good. Like they can all have the moments. They all have quite a high ceiling. But I'm still not sure whether I rate consistency. Like, are they consistent enough? Like after the major, they went down a bit.
They took their foot off the
I
pedal,
don't.
man. They were just like, look, we won the fucking best thing, the highest accolade in the sport.
Yeah,
I think it's understandable that I can't imagine many people win the the NBA playoffs or whatever, and like the NFL Super Bowl, and then just go straight back in to like I don't know. It's hard to get like back to back wins in anything in like
yeah.
actual majors, and like
Especially
you know what I'm trying to
CounterStrike.
say. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the World Cup. I just wanted to kind of give Navi their roses and I didn't want to just brush it over because I feel like Navi are looked down upon quite a lot. It probably sounded like I was pretty negative with them then, but watching them play is really it's really nice to watch. They play really good teamwork, I think.
Fine. So fair play. Well done, Navi. The Sky esports thing also happened, which was almost like a tier 2 event. Um, I didn't watch any of it. I just saw that there was loads of problems, loads of day one effectively got cancelled. I think there was one match going on. The only thing I was surprised about was the fact that Mongols didn't win it. They lost to 3D Max in the final. I guess, did you watch any of it? I don't know.
No,
It,
I didn't actually. I've been a bit out of the Counter-Strike
we
scene.
have been a bit out of it. To be fair,
I was working away.
we've not been great. But the Mongols lost in the finals. 3D Max, a French team. Mate, they got the first map Anubis. They only got 4 rounds. In the second one, they got 5 rounds. So they got 9 rounds over a 2-0 defeat, which, I mean, that's bad for the Mongols as well. I mean, 3D Max you know, turned up clearly. Again, I can't comment on the eye test because I didn't watch it, but fucking hell. Where were the Mongols? Where was Senzu? Where are you, bro? Where was everyone? Like, they just played appalling by the looks of it. So,
Yeah, you would have been expecting them to win it, right? Or maybe like Ents or Eternal Fire to be up there. But yeah, fair play, 3D Max. Let's see if they can keep it up.
yeah, well, that's, yeah. Blast is happening right now. Anyone watching Blast out there, shout us. Tell us who you think's going to win the full groups. This tournament, I don't know if you want to call it a tournament, but this round of games always feels a bit lackluster, doesn't it? Because it's just about qualification to the other Blast events and a bit of money. I don't know. OG and Gamer Legion are already out. OG, interestingly, playing with Thomas as a stand-in. I saw, which was funny.
Oh, for because Thingy left. Have you got?
Yes, exactly. So, you know, I guess I don't know. I don't think anyone would have expected OG to do much at the tournament. But hey ho. Yeah, we've been watching a bit today, which is
Yeah.
a Wednesday, the 31st. So I watched a bit of FaZe earlier, particularly the first FaZe map against Cloud9. So I actually got to watch a bit of Heavy God in action. And in the first map, mate, yeah, FaZe looked really good for the first half. Anyway, they looked dominant. When I actually turned on, I think at one point Rain was like, I want to say he was like 12 for 2 in kills. Like, he was just dominating. The second half wasn't quite as easy for them, but Rain looked quality, and actually Carrigan as well in the first half. Again, he sloped off in the second, but Carrigan looked pretty solid. I watched a bit of the first map, which was Dust 2. Then I missed Inferno because I was at work and shouldn't have been watching it. And then I watched a bit of pretty much tuned back in for overtime on Mirage, and all I really saw was Brokey making some really good AWP shots and Rops just clearing up on like the lurk patrol role, really. But did you watch any of that game at all? Did you see?
I watched bits, mate, and if anyone was watching then, and not just listening, you probably saw my face when you just mentioned Carrigan playing really well, because he wasn't. He has moments, Carrigan, but mate, an
Mate, in the
overall
first
rating
map,
of
he
0.74.
played well in the first map. Look, the ratings might
He
not
was
just
was Dust 2 the first map?
yeah, and he was and look,
0.67.
no, honestly, the eye
He
test
was 10
checked
for
out.
18.
He was playing well. Oh god, listen, I might be
Like,
biased.
I know Carrigan's like his forte isn't fragging, but I do think sometimes
Let
like
him cook.
he's great in-game leader, but sometimes he does get abused a bit, and I do
You were
think
texting me saying
he letting them
they're
down.
just attacking Carrigan's site.
Yeah, which is what you do when you play in phase. For me, this was a little bit of a letdown from phase, to be honest. I think I was watching Mirage, and Cloud9 shouldn't be this close to phase.
Or is it a sign that
With them just coming together. Axile was playing really well.
yeah, it's nice to it's well, the two surprise acts were probably Rops and Exile, who both performed because Rops has not been playing great, right? So it's nice to see them both. I think kind of turning up personally. Don't know
Yeah, Bubich didn't even recognize him.
why, because he was so skinny.
Yeah,
Yeah, what a guy! I love
yeah,
Boomich, man. Everyone knows that on this podcast. I don't know why. Fair play to him,
yeah,
man. He's looking great. I might need to take some tips, shed some
yeah.
weight.
I was, yeah, he's done really well there. But yeah, Axel played really well. Icy wasn't too bad. Icy played pretty well as well from what I saw, and I do feel like we need to kind of touch on that. Heavy God wasn't as playing as well as I was hoping. I feel like he's one of those players that he has something there where he can pop off, but doesn't always get in the rhythm.
I think this is probably a bit of a combination of FaZe continuing their sluggish kind of play over the last season, and actually Cloud9 having a bit of a honeymoon and feeling quite good about themselves going into this. I think Axel's rejuvenation with a bit of Icy coming in with a bit of actual AWP panache probably means Cloud9, like, that's a good first game for them, isn't it? Really, to
Well,
push FaZe to that limit. I think they should be happy.
well, I think there should be a good game tomorrow when they play against Nip, because
Yeah.
Nip were kind of playing pretty well. So I feel like that game tomorrow is going to be a good testament to like who is, you know, getting there, who is improving. Is it Nip or is it Cloud9? FaZe are playing G2 tomorrow. When I say FaZe are a letdown, I mean that because I hold them at a very high standard. Their
Yeah.
FaZe. So they should be doing well. I see FaZe as one of the best teams in the world, up there with, um, Vitality and Spirit, and I guess you could say Navi at the minute. I think G2 are on a little run and they're in a bit of a moment. They've definitely got more momentum than FaZe, so I would assume they're going to win. What do you think, being a bit of a FaZe fan?
I don't know because G2. Well, the issue we've got here is I think G2 go into like this whole scenario off the back of their final loss against Navi, and they're probably feeling pretty fucking confident. Like they also just took down Nip, who there was actually quite a lot of confidence. Everyone was kind of suggesting, I think it was Henry or whoever was on casting earlier when I was listening, and he was like, Nip looked really good after their last showing, which I can't remember what the tournament was, but they did turn up and kind of play quite well.
Yeah.
And they're going to really push G2 to the limit later, and they didn't really. So I think G2 are actually feeling pretty fucking confident. So I actually wouldn't be surprised if G2 nick that one 2-1 or something. It'll be close, but G2 actually might edge that. I feel with FaZe again going against Cloud.
G2 are going to beat FaZe.
Yeah, I think they might tomorrow. Yeah, I think 2-1. It'll be close, but I think G2 might edge it. They've got that confidence from their final loss against Navi in the World Cup. They're just fucking battered Nip, who, again, I reckon they might have had a bit of insecurity around because Nip have been playing well recently and everyone has given Nip a bit of hype. And so I think the vulnerable party in that game is FaZe. So I think, unfortunately, G2 are going to nip it.
Yeah. So Liquid VP have just finished. Liquid have won.
Yeah, so this is interesting because we were watching this before we started the podcast, and if there was ever any doubt, and you can go back to the Gadge episode that we just released 2 weeks ago, and I basically said that Twist going RGL was one of the worst decisions ever, and that he's going to sacrifice everything that makes him Twists. I've basically just been completely proven wrong because we
Don't
watched
think too soon, because that's one map. But
I watched Dust 2, and bro, Twist looked fucking fire. The guy's AWPing. Like, he's AWPing and putting up better numbers than their AWPer was doing. He looked quality.
Yeah, I mean, Ultimate had spurts in, was it Ancient that went to overtime? Yep. JKS, can I just say, he's not played a game in CS2, right?
Did he leave?
If he has, he's not played for a very long time
did he leave
anyway.
G2 before? I don't know, actually.
I can't remember. But he came in anyway without a rating, not played for a very long time, just been grinding face it, I guess, and he was on fire. He was before the overtime, he was the highest fragger on the server, I'm pretty sure. He was playing really, really well. He looked really locked in, which is a really good sign. And I think whichever teams could have signed him and didn't, shame on them.
They're going to be
And
kicking themselves now, aren't they?
yeah,
I feel like everyone's
yeah.
been saying it for so long, though. He must have had offers and just picked and choose.
I think he did have offers, but he was like, so yeah. Shame on anyone who didn't sign JKS. And Ultimate took a while to settle in, but when it went to overtime and he got that overtime monies, he was on fire. I wasn't watching too well at this point, but you were watching, right? I felt like Ultimate was just popping off,
Yeah, I
and
watched a bit of overtime.
he
He
had a
looked
lot of
confident.
question marks over him, didn't he? But I felt like he showed he can do it. It's just how consistent he can be.
Well, I think if Twist can IGL and keep up those kind of numbers in terms of frags and fucking impact, right? And then you've got Orpa that we didn't see. You need to see more of Ultimate, right? But like, he did his job. He didn't do anything ecstatic. Like, it wasn't like a wonderful impact for his first couple of games, like whatever. But if he does that, but then Twist can IGL as well as put those numbers up, which is significantly better than like Acadian, then I don't know. It looks better, doesn't it? Two two
I
two
do,
nil against VP is a good result for your first game.
yeah. Watching them even before the game kind of started, I was looking at them and I was thinking, do you know what? I've got same vibes as like Navi. I feel like these guys could do pretty well. I'm not saying these guys are the best in the world. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't want people, and I don't want people thinking putting Navi down either. Um, but this team could be similar to Navi with no ego and kind of um, a low key, really good team. The only question marks I have, and Cadian said this on the desk, this was quite funny. I messaged you about it. Cadian got asked what he thought of the new Liquid squad, which is obviously funny since he's been benched by Liquid. And what did he say now? He was saying he thinks they could do well. He was basically saying all the right things that everyone else is saying. You know, Ultimate's not been tested, blah, blah, blah. And was it Tech Girl on the desk with him?
Yeah.
And JKS, he got asked about JKS, and she was hyping JKS up, saying apparently he's a proper workhorse, this, that, and the other, which I felt like might be a dig at Cadian as well, because they were talking about him being such a workhorse. And he said, well, why did G2 bench him then or kick him? So then they were talking about his communications, and Tech Girl was saying like, oh, they've got quite good communications on Liquid because they're quite vocal. And then I was thinking, well, your Kinder is, and Twist might be, but Ultimate I doubt will be. Naf isn't. JKS, if he isn't, they haven't got loads of comms there. But this is all hearsay, right? It's all Chinese whispers. We don't know who said what. We're just going off what people are saying, and we don't know what's true and what's not.
Yeah.
So I do think this team could be good. Don't think they're going to be winning anything ridiculous, but I do think they're going to be better than most people think.
They're going to be better than the Cadian Liquid, I guess.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
because they had really high expectations and didn't perform right. These guys have low expectations, but I think will still perform better. But it's like I was saying before with FaZe, like I'm not happy with the way they're performing. If Liquid went and 2-0 Cloud9, I'd be like, oh, these guys are sick. So it's all relative, right, to the team.
Yep. Well, let's see how it pans out. Yeah, there's no more games tonight, is there? No, it's all tomorrow. Play G2 tomorrow, Cloud9 in Nip. Navi Liquid tomorrow. That's a nice one. Big VP. So
Yeah, and just to touch on the other groups, Spirit obviously through to the final of Group A, Vitality through to the final of Group B, and we're guessing G2 going to make it through to the
I'm
final
gonna
of this
go
one.
G2.
Yeah, and Navi are through to the final of Group D.
No, they're
So
not.
there we go.
They're not. They've got Liquid, and then whoever wins between Navi and Liquid tomorrow
Oh
goes
yeah,
through.
apologies.
Which I think that's a good game. Navi Liquid. That's probably the one to look for.
Yeah, that will be a sick game actually.
Right. Let's move on to not sack tapping, which is what I think I first called it, but snap tapping. hot topic in the CS world and why we were talking about hardware, and I said we'd be talking about hardware now. This is the latest, what do we call it?
And
Drama. What do we say? Event.
yeah, I was saying like the latest trend, but
Trend, yeah, trend drama whereby basically keyboard manufacturers, Wootin and Razer, are introducing something called snap tapping into their keyboards. So I watched the video that demos or kind of explains what this thing is 3 times, and I'm not entirely clear because we are noobs, but from what I understand, it effectively creates some perfect counter strafing and eliminates the human error by cancelling or not cancel. Does it cancel the movement? I don't fucking know, bro. All I know is the videos make it look like it is sick.
Yeah, so if you're pressing like if you're strafing left and right, and you press A and then press D, if you press D while you're still holding A, it has no input, right?
You mean normal keyboards?
If you're pressing
Yeah.
2 keys at the same time, but this one, if you're still holding A as you go to press D, it will overwrite the A and it will press D for you, right?
That sounds kind of right.
It sounds right, but it also sounds
Someone
like
in the comments, please correct us if wrong. But all I know is the hype is that it seems to be a little mini cheat code. So
gimme.
what are we saying? Obviously, we coming at this from a different angle, and I think I know the answer. Are we gonna try and use it? If I know for a fact, I've researched my keyboard, which is an Apex Mini Pro, the Steel Series. They said 5 days ago they're actively working on implementing it, and they asked for patience while they try implement it. The fact that I seeked out if my keyboard is going to implement it probably answers this question. But are we going to use this, Brady, in our Face It games?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I will. I'll look into it, yeah, and see how much these keyboards are.
Yeah, because do you not reckon your keyboard manufacturer's gonna put it out?
Mate, my keyboard is
Your
very
keyboard's
cheap
like a
keyboard.
Dragon XR.
No, that's one of our other friends.
Oh,
What is mine? I don't know what brand it is, but I really like it. I think it's such a good keyboard. I feel like it's one of those like these Chinese companies that just rip off another keyboard.
fine. It's not a Razer, it's a phaser or something.
Yeah,
You've got a Budgetech.
Oh, mine's mechanical, so it won't work, right? Has to be analog.
No, I think it works. I've got mechanical, and they're introducing it to mine, I think.
Okay, so it works on one but not the other. Analog or mechanical.
I don't know. I searched my keyboard and they're introducing it. I've got mechanical, I think.
Right. Okay. So it sounds like we're not quite up on this.
No, we've got no clue.
Subject.
Okay. Question I had. You're obviously going to give it a go, whatever. Like, it's not going to fucking make us face it tens, let's be real. We need a lot more than just a keyboard helping us CounterStrike. If there was one other aspect of the game that you could improve via hardware, like if you could use some hardware and it wasn't deemed illegal, what is there anything else you would like to improve? Like this is obviously helping movement or counter strafing. I don't know, what could it be? Utility usage is the one that comes to mind for me. So whether like my mouse or my keyboard, for example, will tell me the exact lineup for a Mirage window smoke, because I'm so lazy with smoke lineups in utility. Like if my keyboard or my mouse, I don't know how you do it, fuck knows. Like you incorporate into the hardware and it tells you when you're doing it right or wrong. That's something I would definitely use. Is there anything else? Do you think it was just an idea I had where there was anything?
I'm not as enough tech savvy to come up with something like this. Like if you'd asked me this question, I would have never thought of this counter strafing technique because I just assumed keyboards, were. I guess there's a point where it's pressing the button and where it's not, right? Which is the whole point of these new keyboards. But
Yeah,
yeah, I
mate.
didn't realize there was a big delay between me pressing left and right. But
Mate,
obviously
I'm
there
such
is.
a noob. I didn't even have actuation settings. I've got every setting. I've got rapid trigger, and I've got actuation settings. So like how far down you press on it. And this whole snap tapping thing's made me go and change all my settings on my keyboard. So after this, we're gonna play a game, and I'm gonna try it with my new sensitivity actuation settings and see if that helps. The rogue finger, if you're watching on video, is a bit disconcerting, but yeah.
Hardware-wise, it's really difficult, isn't it? But yeah, I don't know what else you could do. But in terms of using it, it's quite controversial. But
Yeah, we're gonna fucking use it.
we're not. Yeah, we're not of the
Unless it
mind
gets
of
you banned on Face It,
it's
on
it's
gets you
cheating.
VAC banned, we'll
It
use it.
can't be. It can't be cheating though because it's something out there that's
On a
like,
keyboard. What
yeah,
they
like
can't say don't buy Steel Series or Razer keyboard.
exactly. So for me, it's
Here to
just the
stay.
same as buying a better
Monitor.
monitor or a better mouse or whatever. Like you like you said at the start of this episode, our headphones sometimes we hear stuff other people don't. I mean, from the people we play with, they're fucking their headset or their microphone's like a potato because everything sounds so muffled. It's so shit. I say to you all the time, what are people using? I remember when I first started playing CounterStrike, I probably used like a pair of shitty little headphones I had for my CD player or my mini disc player um, when I first started, and then I probably bought like a £10 pair from the supermarket or something. But these days, I feel like anyone can get their hands on a decent headset. Anyway, I've gone off on a tangent here.
We have, and we're actually getting probably to the end of this episode. I would suggest the only thing we've got to shout out is the Perseverance drama. Just because it's
Yes,
like such
my
a
favourite topic.
the funny thing is it's almost like a casual, it's like bunking off school but just doing it in such a shit way, isn't it? Like, so for those of you that don't know, my understanding of this is Perseverance, a North American team, wanted to get out of an ESL game or qualifier game or something, and so I think they had a new member of the team joining. I don't know. There was something they needed. They wanted to play a game. They wanted to delay a game basically, and so long story short, they went in the Discord of the organisers of ESL and said, "Oh, I might have some." One of the team members said, "I might have some power issues from thunderstorms or whatever, and some storms. Can we reschedule our game till tomorrow?" And I guess that was shot down. They said no. So then basically they got one of the team members to text themselves or the other team members and say, "Oh, the town of whatever in America is in close areas are at high risk of power outages between these times on this day, which is the day of the game, and you're going to experience issues and yeah, whatever." And then they use that to effectively try and lie about rearranging the game.
Yeah,
So
they sent a screenshot of a storm cloud over their town, and they'd forged a message. They sent
yeah, you're better at
a
explaining it
screen.
clearly. Yeah.
They they sent a screenshot of a text message from the I guess from the weather board with the alert.
And then Dust 2 in America traced. Well, one they spelled experience wrong, so they're like, "What the hell? This already looks dodgy." Then they traced it all back and checked the weather at that time in America at that time, and it was fine. And then they traced the number, and it was related to one of the players.
I mean, it's pretty easy to kind of
It just
do some homework on that,
it
isn't
was
it?
fucking
Like
brilliant,
the weather, like they could have come up with some other excuse, but the weather.
mate. It has to be one of the best like skiving stories I've heard in a long time. You know,
Brilliant. I feel like this guy's done this with like something before. Like, I don't know if he's got out of school or he's got out of something with this
Yeah,
same technique, and he's like,
this
"Don't worry,
works.
lads,
I've got it
I've
sorted.
got this. I'll sort it. Don't you worry."
Oh, mate,
I
it's...
think it's brilliant that he got caught.
we're gonna have to use this next time we can't record a podcast to each other. Mate,
Yeah, sorry guys.
I've got storm outages. Right, let's end it there. GG. Thanks, guys, for
GG's.
watching. And
Yeah.
we'll see you next week. I'm sure back to normal scheduling. Any feedback welcome as always, and thank you guys for listening. Anything else, Brady, or are we out?
Nope. Thank you very much, everyone. Adios.